So I wanted to come on here. Actually, I wanted to do this morning, but as I mentioned about the GoPro, that pretty much bit the dust. I'd originally recorded it on that, but what are you going to do when something like that finally decides to die on you? You know, not of its own accord. Well, kind of, because the battery that you used is pretty much the weakest of the three you have, and it decides to de-energize a lot quicker than the others, and you're pretty much stuck with a nearly dead battery that when you try to pull the tip out, doesn't want to pull out properly, and part of it breaks off, causing the battery to get stuck in the GoPro. So now I have to end up getting a new GoPro eventually down the line. When that happens is up in the air, but hopefully it'll happen real soon, especially with my hours probably increasing a little bit because of the summer. But that's not why I wanted to come on here. What I wanted to come on here is to redo a video talking about a certain wrestling YouTuber here in the YWC, IWC, that is looked at as a very controversial contributor to the YWC and the IWC, if you will. I checked my time. Anyway, he's very opinionated in what he says, and he sticks to what he says. That, of course, as the title may suggest, is JD from NY206. Now, JD is looked at probably as one of the more opinionated, if not probably the most opinionated personality in the YWC and IWC today. The reason being is because he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't hold anything back. When he wants to let something be known, he'll let it be known. If he wants to, say how he feels about something, he'll say how he feels. And there are times where people will hear him say something like, "Oh, let's just give it a chance, let's let it play out," when it comes to, let's say, AEW, but he refuses to do the same for WWE. And the reason he refuses to do the same for WWE, basically, is, as I've mentioned in the past, he's one of those fans that WWE lost the trust of. So unless WWE plans to finally regain the trust, or work on regaining the trust of the fans, he's not going to give them the benefit of the doubt of, okay, let's let it play out and see what happens. I mean, a good example is when he did Off the Script yesterday, Off the Script Extra, and he basically called out a lot of people that try to compare the fact of what's going on with WWE and Roman Reigns' situation right now as being similar to what Kenny Omega went through when he was the AEW champion, and even the Impact World Champion and the AAA Mega Champion. They try to make that same comparison, and basically JD, from his own point of view, had to, I guess, shut him down and say that's not entirely true, because, even though Kenny wouldn't appear that much on Dynamite when he was their champion, he was still wrestling, he was still competing by defending the Impact World title, and to an extent, when he was scheduled to, the AAA Mega Championship. So JD felt that there was no comparison. In a way, from what I can tell, and JD, if you watch this, I mean this with no offense, he basically felt like, yeah, there is a similarity, but not much. And if there is any, it's barely there. Like there's just barely a similarity, but there is a big difference, and that big difference is the fact that Omega may have not been on Impact, not Impact, but on Dynamite and Rampage as much, but at least he was still competing, he was still wrestling when it came to defending championships and stuff, instead of taking time off to do other things, like just be on vacation or whatever. He basically let it be known from his point of view how he felt about that, and that's his opinion. just like a lot of the wrestling YouTubers in the YWC and the IWC have their own opinion as well on how they view things when it comes to a lot of the wrestling promotions out there. But yeah, JD is very opinionated, and that is very opinionated, and doesn't let anybody change his judgment. If he makes a mistake, he'll come out and admit he made a mistake. He even said as much. He even said as much about, I think it was the whole MJF deal. Well, one of the titles of his videos, his live stream, is off the script extras, I should say, is where he entitled it, if MJF wants to be Bruce Pritchard's bitch, then let him, or something like that. And he had to apologize for jumping the gun. So when he realizes he's made a mistake, he'll come out and he'll say he made a mistake. But he's not going to let other people force him or manipulate him into saying he made a mistake because they don't agree with what he says. And that's why I'm a fan of the guy. That's why I'm a fan of the guy, and when I can, during his live streams, I like to contribute with a super chat here and there because, I like the fact that he doesn't back down. He doesn't back down from what people, criticize him for. Some people will, call guys like him a hypocrite because, like I said, they'll say, oh, let's let it play out and see what happens when it comes to AEW and other companies, but they won't do it for WWE. And again, it's like I said, it's because WWE lost the trust of JD. They lost the trust of all these other wrestling YWCers and IWCers. And if they're planning to, like I said, regain their trust, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take them, basically starting from scratch to really, regain the trust, or even coming out publicly and saying, hey, we effed up. We should have known better. We should have listened to you, the fans. We should have given you what you wanted, end of story. But until that day comes, you're not going to really hear JD, admit or even acknowledge, hey, let's see how it plays out when it comes to WWE. You're not. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to see that whatsoever. So, to me, honestly, if you have to choose if you have to choose 3 individuals here on the YWC to really, actually, I'll give you this. I'll give you a top 5 before I close this. If you have to choose 5 individuals here on the YWC to get opinions from that they will not back down from, that they will voice and say, hey, this is how I feel about it. The top 5, in my opinion, are JD, Solomonster, Jason Solomon, if Solomonster sounds off, Just Alex, Just Alex's World, OTRS Central, and Wrestling with Regret, Brian Zane. Those are the 5 that, to me, you have to really pay attention to and watch to get true, in my opinion, true, unopinionated, uninterrupted, opinions on how they feel about what goes on in professional wrestling. Whether it's WWE, whether it's AEW, New Japan, Impact, MLW, or even some promotions they might be connected to, like, Zayn is connected to POW, which is Portland Wrestling, if you will. Or Hog, which is House of Glory, which Solomonster and JD are connected to. In fact, they're the commentating team, the announce team for that company as we speak for right now when it comes to a lot of their in-demand or on-demand online IPP events on places like Fight TV or even here on YouTube. So, yeah, they're going to give you your opinion. They're going to give you the unbiased opinions and not be apologetic for it. And JD is right up there at the top, basically, as one of the most unapologetic, very opinionated IWC, YWCers out there, and that's why a lot of people like him. They may not agree at times with where he stands about certain things, but they like him, they're fans of him, because he will not back down on what he feels and believes in from what he sees, from what he hears reported. He's not going to back down from any of that whatsoever. And he's going to stick to his guns, and that's why people like him. Like I said, they may not agree with everything he says, but they like him because he he sticks to his guns, and they know deep down that they have to respect that no matter what the circumstances. But to me, this is why JD is one of the guys I've subscribed to and follow and enjoy listening to, because like I said, he's not someone that's going to be intimidated by somebody coming out and saying, "Oh, you're wrong," and da 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 da, and he's going to cower back and saying, okay, you're right, I'm wrong. No, he's going to, like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, he's going to stick to his guns, and that's it. That's the end of the story. But, that's just how I feel about it. Let me know how you feel about JD if you've seen his work. Do you agree that he is a very opinionated member, if not the most opinionated member of the YWC? Are you a fan of his? Do you agree with a lot of what he says? Let me know down below in the comments. As well as in the live chat during the premiere. Super thanks will be enabled after the premiere as well. And JD, if you're watching this, keep up the good work, my friend. Hope to catch your live stream tonight after SmackDown on Rampage. I know you're going to have more positives to say about Rampage than you are about SmackDown. But then again, even you admit, things can surprise you. So we'll see what happens. But till then, guys, my bus is just about here in a little bit, and I will talk to y'all later.